Hey guys, wanted to let you all know what's going on from the Emergency Operations Center as it pertains to infection control. First of all, the department has dedicated myself to focus exclusively on that position, and we have got a host of resources to include the Virginia Department of Health and CDC that we're referring to on a regular basis. I wanted to make sure that everybody knows that I'm available 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. So if you have any questions whatsoever as we can battle this virus, please don't hesitate to call my cell phone at any time. There's a host of resources that are available to you all that we're doing to prevent exposing our folks to this disease. The first one, as you well know, starts with communications, where they are advising you to wear PPE. And everyone is doing a great job acknowledging that information and using that advice. The second thing is PPE. It's critical, obviously, that all of our folks are wearing eye protection, gowns or suits, gloves, and a mask. N95s or surgical are both resources based on the condition of the patient that you're treating. The other thing that we wanted to relay to everyone is a series of best practices that you all have been reporting to us thus far. First, it starts with possibly questioning the family or folks that are on the scene prior to engaging with the patient, doing that outside or in another room. Secondly, if you deem it appropriate to put a surgical mask actually on the patient to see if a family member or someone that's in the residence or on the scene can help apply that mask on your behalf. Keep in mind, if we do our transporting the patient, that the attendant in charge could sit in the captain's chair that places them behind the patient in a way, again, reducing exposure. Multiple ways of limiting crew exposure: having one person enter the house or residence, keeping the engine company outside. Those are all things that you guys have been reporting as great ways that you have reduced exposures to potential patients. One of the things that you guys are doing is flipping a switch on image trend to indicate that you've had a patient that's under investigation. It's critical that once you do that, to know that behind the scenes we've got a detailed, extensive call review. So we're reviewing your PCR in depth and putting it into an either low or a high suspicion category. The high suspicion categories are your patients that have been symptomatic and possibly have had exposure to a known source. We are immediately making contact with the receiving hospital and placing ourselves on the list to be notified as soon as that patient is tested, or they're letting us know that they simply haven't tested the patient because they haven't met the criteria, and then we're immediately sharing that information with you all that are exposed to that call. Another critical factor with infection control is deconning the unit and the personnel. So showers once you get back to the station, obviously deconning at 7 and 10, that process is working well. Due to our experiences over the last couple of days and the few near misses that we've had, we've learned 3 very valuable lessons that we want everybody to be a good take home. And those are 3 exposure prevention priorities. 1, make sure that you put a mask on the patient. 2, make sure that you are in the appropriate PPE for that particular incident. And 3, make sure that you limit aerosol generated treatments if providing them at all. Logistics has been working very detailed over the last couple of weeks to provide PPE for you all. They've spent in excess of $37,000 in the first 2 weeks to obtain PPE. So stuff is rolling in on a daily basis. Know that. If for some reason you become symptomatic or you become exposed to a source, we're working with you all one-on-one to get through that process. If you are exposed, that term comes from the CDC. We're working directly with Dr. Frank. He's been great in working with our folks in our department. He determines the risk in accordance with CDC, whether it's low, medium, or high. And if he deems that your exposure did in fact take place, and if it was moderate or high, then they will order a quarantine. It doesn't come from the department. It comes from the Virginia Department of Health. You will be paid from a human resources standpoint, and you'll have an opportunity to quarantine at home or in a hotel if that suits your family needs at home. So again, guys, just keep in mind that I'm available for you. We're here in the EOC while the operation is running. Please don't hesitate to call me at any point in time. We want to make sure that we're very transparent and you have all the necessary information. Thanks, and look forward to hearing from you.